I ranked every single manga cover from My Hero Academia live on stream, and I definitely had some controversial opinions, so here are the highlights. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I have returned. As promised, tier list. It's good. If you like what I do, I appreciate you. Because it's also like crazy sometimes to think about like, wow, people actually watch my stuff and like what I do. I'm not just like posting at a brick wall. I think this stream is going to end up being maybe a little shorter than the anime one that I just did, mainly because there's only 42 volume covers. I also say that, but I'm sure chat will tangent me at some point. All right, let's get into this tier list. Let's see what we got here. Fun fact, not to flex, but I do own every single one of these volumes. They're actually behind me on this shelf. They're up on that shelf. I own 1 through 42, and it took me forever to collect up through all of those because I kind of bought in here at volume 14 was the first one I bought, and then I bought them all the way up to volume 20, and then I kind of stopped. And then I picked back up at some point because what ended up happening was I was reading it weekly on the Shonen Jump app after volume 20. Is I figured out like, oh, I can just read the newest chapter for free on Shonen Jump. So I got on Shonen Jump, paid for it for like a month, which is, I will never understand people who pirate manga. Like, especially manga that's officially translated like My Hero, because the Shonen Jump app is $2 a month. It is $2. You can't tell me you don't have $2 a month to support the official release of all of these different series. And when people are like, well, I gotta pirate the newest chapter, blah, 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 because of like, you know, the translations and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, but like you have to read the official translations and go based off of that. Otherwise, what's the point? Like I had a friend in college who was like, oh, I'm going to pirate all of my manga. And I'm like, you know, if you get caught up to My Hero, you can actually read it officially for free on the weekly Shonen Jump app. Like the Shonen Jump app posts all of their new chapters for free. And then it's if you want to go back and read the back catalog or get caught up that you then will have to pay $2 a month. We talk about overpriced streaming services, but Shonen Jump's pretty fair. Manga Plus is pretty fair too, as far as I remember. And Manga Plus has pretty much everything that Shonen Jump doesn't. In addition to everything that Shonen Jump does. Like Manga Plus has My Hero, Demon Slayer, all of that. It's kind of like the Verve, if anybody remembers VRV. Oh, dude, that was the best anime streaming service. Because it had Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth, High Dive, like it had everything all in one place for like $15 a month. And then they got rid of it. For what? So that I can pay $17.99 a month for Crunchyroll alone? We got a lot of covers to get through here. But yeah, anyway, needless to say, I stopped collecting at volume 20 because I read all the way to the end. But then as, you know, like Books A Million or whatnot did manga sales, I went in, you know, got in on that, and I bought them when it was like buy one get one 50% off. And I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna make some deals, and I got some secondhand too for like $5 a piece. So now my collection is full, but it certainly was not. But it's tier list time. So you guys got me rambling for 15 minutes before we even started the tier list. Starting at the top, volume 1. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be a little generous here. Like, I have to be brutally honest in speaking of like a volume cover. We're not going based on what's in the volume, the contents of the volume. This is strictly speaking on the artwork on the cover itself. And I gotta give the first volume A tier. It's classic. It's a classic. It's like when you think of My Hero Academia, that's the cover. It's the first one. It's classic. Obviously gets referenced again with volume 42. What can I say? Volume 2. Okay, so looking at volume 2 here, it's not bad. It does definitely channel that like shonen rivalry, but it's not like his greatest work. You know what I mean? Like it's not like anything crazy. So I'm gonna say B. Because it's not bad, but it's also not like, you know. Volume 3, open that sucker up. Let's see it. Volume 3, again, not bad, but certainly not like some of his best work. I feel like a lot of the early covers struggle with that. They're not his best work, but they certainly are not his worst. because there's a couple covers on here that I'm like, that ain't it. So I'm going to give that one a B as well. I like it more than volume 2. I'll tell you that. All right, volume 4. Open it up. Let's see it. Very standard character poster. One of the only... Hey, check this out, chat. One of the only covers to feature Uraraka in it. Isn't that crazy? For as important of a character as Uraraka is, she's only on 5 covers. That's crazy. And they'll say it's because Horikoshi hates women, and that's just not true. I think it just has something to do with like the arc. Like realistically speaking, yes, she's an integral character to the story, but in terms of like putting her on a cover, this stretch here towards the end where she's doing all of her stuff with Toga, that is based on the contents of the volume where it would make the most sense for her to go. So I understand why she's not. I just think that sucks. It's sad. But volume 4, I'm gonna say C tier. It's a very standard fair character poster. Volume 5, it's very simplistic in what it's trying to be. Horikoshi sure does like his character.png on a white background, and I don't blame him for that. It's easy, but I gotta give it C tier. Volume 6, I think volume 6 has some incredible composition here. I love the way this he encircles them, and I will say, these early My Hero covers feel very reminiscent of old school comic book covers, which I think, obviously that was probably the intention. They're definitely referencing old school, Marvel and DC. And obviously, Horikoshi's been very upfront about, yeah, this is what inspired the series. I think I'm going to give this one an A. I don't think it's above Volume 1, but I will give it an A. Volume 7, it's nothing special. It's not anywhere near the worst, but it's all right. Volume 7 gets slapped with a C tier. All right, Volume 8. This one feels the most visually distinct from all of the other ones. Different does not always entail good. I'm gonna say it's a high C. It's better than the last character tower poster we got. Volume 9. Okay, this is a really good one. I think this one goes criminally underrated. I think there's a Carnage and Spider-Man cover that he's referencing for this. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's kind of got he's definitely referencing this, which makes sense because he definitely references Deku, or references Spider-Man to Deku a lot. I'm going to give this one another A. Volume 10, I do like the composition of this one with the all for one hands coming in and Bakugo being torn between Deku and Shigaraki. I'll give Volume 10 a solid B tier, but I think it's high B. Volume 11, what did I say about Horikoshi and his character PNGs on a white background? I do think it does good work, and All Might looks very American hero here, but as I said, character on a white background. High C. Volume 12, I believe this is Hatsume's only appearance on a manga cover. It's all right. It's definitely after Volume 14, he really found his stride in making covers and then just locked in. I'm going to give Volume 12, I'll give it a solid bottom of B because I think it's better than 11. This one, is this worse than a character PNG on white background? Because this is a bright red. I don't love this one. I really don't love this one. You're getting C tier. But definitely up there. Volume 14 is all right. I'm not entirely sold on this one. This volume cover would be infinitely better if you took Deku off the cover and just made Overhaul bigger. And just let Overhaul be the main focal point of the thing. Because it feels like Overhaul was very intentionally crafted with the background and put there. And then, Deku got slapped on, Deku.png got slapped on. That, again, just because I understand doesn't mean it's good. But it's not... I like it better than anyone in C, so I'll give it bottom of B. Volume 15, I think genuinely might be the only bad cover. Volume 15 goes in D. It is genuinely one of the lesser good ones that he's done. Volume 16, I love this cover. This is where Horikoshi started to lock in. You know what I'm saying? He really started to lock in here. You're going to see a lot more A and S tier covers going forward. I think this one is a high A tier. Is it better than the volume 1 cover? I think... that's hard. No, I don't think it's better than the volume 1. It is a really good cover. Volume 17. Okay, see, Horikoshi learned. No character on generic white background, because at least he gave a little something more here with like the overhaul spikes. That's a good cover. You know, not the best, not the greatest or the brightest, but definitely like I would say a high B tier. Volume 18, I think this might be our first S tier, which is funny because it's character on... It's character on, you know, character PNG on white background. It's just one of my favorite covers because it's got the, you know, it's got Deku going in on the overhaul. I think this one makes a better use of the white background because it fills most of the screen. If we look at some of the other ones, like that one, you know, it's all right. That one, like, it's all right. I'm also very biased. This is my personal opinion. And you know what? I'll die on this hill. I think volume 18, I don't think it's an S tier, but I do think it's a high A tier. Okay, so volume 19. This is a good one. I like this one. I like the colors. I like this. You know, this feels like very different. Like going from volume 18, like 16, 17, 18, which are all very fight heavy, to then immediately jump to boom. Pink bubbles, Jiro on the front with guitar. It's like, is this still My Hero Academia? I do think it's a good cover, though. I would give it, I think, high B. Still no S tiers yet, but we're about to change that with volume 20. I think this is one of Horikoshi's best covers. And you know why? Because he leaned into the Star Wars reference. Let me see if I can find a comparison for this one, too. There we go. Like, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, where he's very clearly referencing the Star Wars, like Deku doing the pose from that, Gentle and La Brava doing the pose from that. It's a Star Wars reference, and you know me, I'm a sucker for Star Wars, which makes me feel vindicated because my favorite manga artist did a cover for my favorite sequel trilogy movie, and that's very based. That's very based and true. So volume 20 gets an S tier. I will die on that hill, even if other people don't agree. What percentage of your opinion do you think is influenced by modern trends? Is there any way an older cover gets marked down simply because it was released a while ago and is out of style? I don't know, 15%. I don't think modern trends affect manga covers as much as people think they do, because it's more about, is it in the style of the series? Because here's the thing. Horikoshi makes, like, his art style has drastically improved even from like 21 to 42. Like, even on the last, like, the back half of the series, his art style continued improving. Some of the older covers aren't as strong because he hadn't quite found his footing yet. Like, once you hit volume 20, he realized, okay, we're not getting canceled. And that's why all of the covers from here on out look so good, because he understands and he finally hit his stride. I do think some of his older covers are definitely weaker, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just they're not as good. Volume 21. That's a good one. I like this one. I think that one is also going to go high A. And I do like it more than volume 18, like objectively speaking here. Volume 22, back to generic character towers again, but that makes sense because it's the joint training arc, which is one of the only arcs I genuinely dislike, by the way. And even then, I don't really dislike it. I think it's the weakest out of the arcs, but I understand its narrative importance of like unlocking Deku's new quirk. I'll say it's not egregious. I'll say it's like middle of B. Volume 23. It's the only cover Shinso's on. Wait, that's not true. Shinso would be on he would be on the 42 cover as well, but Shinso only gets 2 covers. But again, it's not great, but I would say it's high C. I think it's high C. Shout out to Horikoshi for doing covers for the villains. You know, shout out to him for doing My Villain Academia at all. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of like trust in your audience and in the story to pivot to the villains for an entire arc. And it gives a lot of good backstory on all of them and tells you why they're evil. And I think that's good. And it does like set stuff up because the next arc, or one of the next arcs after that, is the first, you know, the Paranormal Liberation War arc. I kind of just call them War Arc 1 and then the final War Arc. I don't dislike My Villain Academia. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but it's all about the villains. And I'm like, yeah, What makes the story interesting is that they would dare focus on the villains and give them actual proper context as to why they're evil. And that's another thing, is like, My Hero doesn't try to glorify their evil. It's kind of just showing you, like, it's explaining, not excusing, when it comes to the villains. And I think My Hero does a really good job about that. Even though it ends up with a lot of people being villain stans, and they're like, oh, but Toga shouldn't have died. Like, oh, but Shigaraki shouldn't have, Twice shouldn't have died. Okay, but they were villains. So, like, this one of Shigaraki for volume 25, I'm not putting it in F tier. I'm not putting it in, I just forgot to open the image tab. Okay. It's good. I'm gonna put it in C. Let's see. Open image, a new tab. Volume 26. It's all right. Not my fave, but, you know, certainly could be worse. I'm going to say low B. I do think it's better than that one, though. Volume 27. Hold on. Going to Google again. This is the one people think he's referencing with volume 27. But looking at volume 27, One's Justice, named after the game. Of course. Not like the game could have been named after that. Don't worry about it. I think I'll put it higher up on the B scale. Volume 28 is good, but it's a little simplistic. I'll give it, let's say low B. I'll say low B, but not that low. Low, like, there. Volume 29 is all right. I appreciate it, but it does feel oddly placed in that section. I'll say it's not a C tier. I'm moving this one down to B, the C. I'm moving 14 down to C because I can't justify, like, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, you need to go in C so that I can put you at the bottom of B. Actually, no, I like it better than some of these other ones, just from an artistic standpoint. Dobby's Dance for volume 30. Hey guys, is anyone in chat? I need to know. Was anybody there when the chapter reveal for Dobby dropped that he was Toya Todoroki? Was anyone there when that leak night happened and it out-trended the 2020 presidential election? Because I was there on leak night and I remember that. And I just think that's so hilarious to me. Because, like, everything that was going on with the 2020 election should have been trending on its own. But then for this random leak night for My Hero Academia pushes it way above all of that. It was crazy. What a night. Shout out to Horikoshi for doing character PNG on a black background this time. I will give Dobby gets a solid top of C. Volume 31. Oh, dude, you get a solid A tier. I love all of the different layers to this. That's a solid A tier. Horikoshi and his, like, fading away, because he did that again with that one Deku art piece for the art book. You get solid A. Dare I say, no, we're going to put this one in S tier, and then this can be top of A now. And that's how that will work. Volume 32, this is another one Horikoshi said in an interview somewhere in this volume. I know it's in there because I saw it and I read it and I can't find it again, but I know it's in there. He based this off of like a 1970s, 1980s style movie poster, which I think is really cool. You get A tier, but like there. That's a good. I'm telling you guys, he locked in for this last little stretch here. Volume 33. Yes, it's character PNG on a white background, but I think it does a little more with the space and definitely utilizes this section very well. Also, shout out to Uraraka. This is the largest I think she gets on any of the covers, which is sad. I will say this is another A tier. I don't know if it's better than 32. That's me. Volume 34. All right, potential hot take here. I don't like this cover. I really don't. I think that cover is out of place because I don't think Star and Stripe was in the series long enough to justify getting a volume cover. That's just me. I know that's a hot take. I know that's a strange opinion to have, but that's just how I feel. Okay, I do think it's better than this one. All right, volume, what is this, 35? Characters on a white background again. I do like the symbolism with them though, and because it's a Deku one, it does get extra brownie points for that. So you're gonna get middle of B tier. Not that high though. All right, last 7. Volume 36. is actually pretty decent. I think it's a good one, and I enjoy this one. You are going to get bottom of A tier, because I don't think it's better than, especially not these older ones, but it is still good. Volume 37, I didn't open it, but you're going in S tier. It took me a long time to realize that we never actually got this in the series. Like, he never did this. This did not happen. It's just a thing for the cover, but I do appreciate it. Volume 38, I mean, it's all right. Character on a white background. I never realized how many of those he did. Good for Toga for getting her own cover, but I also think, you know, we've got some banger covers here. I don't think, like, you're not special. This one, they look like they're about to drop the hardest mixtape of the war. All Might looking especially a little devious here. Shout out to Uraraka for getting on there with good drip, by the way. They all got good drip, but I really like her outfit. And they also have the French flag in the background for some reason. But you know what? Who am I to say? Maybe it's some kind of thing about how, like, they don't surrender, so they're contrasting the French flag in the background, because France is really only known for surrender. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. No hate to French people if anybody is watching. 39. I think I'm also going to give 39 A tier, but kind of right there-ish. All right, last three. Oh my gosh, character on white background again. Horikoshi, my goat is not washed, but I wish she'd pick a different color. This one with All Might's really cool. I feel like we could have done something slightly different for the Armored All Might, though. I'm going to say high C, like the drink. All right, last two. I can't believe these are the last two. You can tell in these last, like, couple volumes, Horikoshi was pressed. Like, he was pressed for time. In the actual chapters as they were releasing, you can tell he went to a lot of different white backgrounds. If you look in the volume release of the chapters, he went in and re-added backgrounds. He did better character work. Here's some good examples of what I'm talking about. So this is the weekly, right? And then this is the volume. You can see he changed the entire way it was supposed to look. So this is the weekly release, right? That's the volume release. There's a big difference there in that one big thing. Like, you see all of these characters added behind him. There's Gentle coming in there. That being said, I don't know, you get high A because I like Deku and I like the composition. I just don't think it's, you know. And then last, but certainly not least, volume 42 is going to get S tier simply because it's an homage to that one, and we came full circle, as most people wanted and expected to do. That's the tier list, guys. None were bad enough to go into F tier, so I think that's something worth celebrating in and of itself. That's all I've got. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will see you all on the flippity flip side. Peace out.